and welcome to this Thursday's edition of The Money Show. I'm Nantara Rai. The Money Show is one of its kind in all of India. Over the next 30 minutes, we've got only one aim in mind: to help you grow your money. Every weekday, we get a different financial expert in our studios to answer all of your queries. For the next 30 minutes, our phone lines are open. The number's on top of your screen. You can call in and get your query answered live right here on The Money Show on ET Now. You can also email them to us. You can also send them by Facebook or Twitter. Take your pick, get your queries in, and every day we get an expert to answer them. Our expert today for The Money Show is Feroze, Azeez, Deputy CEO at Anand Rathi Private Wealth Management. Hi Feroze, good evening. Welcome to The Money Show. Before I get the ground running and get the first viewer call in or an email in, my big question to you is how are your clients responding to what we're seeing in the markets? I'm sure a lot of your clients have lost money. What are you advising them through this period of pain, volatility? Are you advising them to maybe switch asset classes?
See, I think it's important to get acclimatized to the nature of the beast. When you speak of equity, then automatically volatility is an inherent property of equity. So during good times, people forget that volatility would return. It's the question of whether it will or not. It's about when will it return. So it has returned. Of course, unfortunately, it has coincided with pain even on the debt side over the last few days. So both equity and debt have gone through some pain. So point one we tell our clients is you will have to go through the short-term pain to realize the gains in the long run. Point one. Point two, we are recommending people to hedge their portfolios, which we have been doing for this entire financial year and the calendar year as well. So hedging portfolios using one of the 2-3 very innovative methods to hedge portfolios becomes an integral part. Third is increase your systematic investment plans or those systematic investments, because volatility creates huge benefit for periodic investments, because if the markets are high, you buy fewer units, and if the market is low, you buy more units. So SIPs get a benefit of this market volatility. So we ask them to capitalize on it and try and make best use of the adversity which is there at hand.
Okay, so your advice to this period of pain and volatility is to actually maybe look at SIPs a lot more than usual, increase the allocation for SIPs. A quick programming alert, our phone number on your screen. Live calls are already coming in. I'm going to go across to the first live caller, the ET Now viewer, Sushil Das from Kolkata. Good evening, Mr. Das. What's your query today on The Money Show?
I would like to know about two funds. HDFC Balance Advantage Fund.
Carry on.
Hello.
Yes, carry on. We can hear you.
I would like to know about two mutual funds, HDFC Balance Advantage Fund and BOI Extra Equity Debt Rebalancer. Okay.
Okay. So Feroze, what do you think of these two funds? If Mr. Das is already invested, is it a good idea? Or would you ask him to maybe rebalance his portfolio and look at something else?
See, I think Mr. Das's query on these two funds has a learning and a key takeaway. One is you're looking at a balanced fund. HDFC Balanced Fund is a large fund. Balanced Advantage Fund is a large fund. Point one is I'm not so personally positive about very large funds because the agility of the fund manager to move around is significantly low. Point number two, balanced funds' biggest merit of having dividends tax free is out of the window from 1st of April. And thirdly, I would rather buy a separate equity fund and separate debt fund. The combination has left people with at least 2% per year more. So to recommend to you, Mr. Das, I would rather take a HDFC mid-cap opportunities or even an equity fund with HDFC credit risk fund. This combination will be better than the HDFC Balanced Advantage. Point number two, which is related to the fund, the subsequent fund which Mr. Das has asked for, Bank of India AXA fund. please restrict your investments, in my opinion, to the top 10 asset management companies. Because the kind of research teams and the kind of pedigree they bring to table is significantly more than dealing with a 20th asset management company in the country. So consolidating your investments in the top 10 at worst, you should not go beyond that for your investment needs, because there are a few hundred funds in these top 10 asset management companies, and I would not go into the fragmented space of smaller asset management companies unless there is a very strong reason to do so, because there is another fund of the similar nature in the ICICI basket, which is called the ICICI Balanced Advantage, which moves money between equity and debt, which is what the Bharti AXA, Bank of India AXA fund does. So please take another fund, which is HDFC Mid-Cap Opportunities, HDFC Credit Risk, and ICICI Balanced Advantage to take care of the second need, is what my recommendation to Mr. Das would be.
And Mr. Das, I hope with that you've got some new ideas for your portfolio and the funds that you've been looking at. Don't worry, if you have any follow-up questions, you can call us tomorrow on Friday, or even send us a detailed query. I'm going to move on to the next viewer query that we've got on the Money Show. This is coming in from Swami, who writes, I'm 26 years old and single. My salary is 17,000 rupees a month, and I'm investing 10,000 rupees a month via SIP. I started 3 months back. I'm investing for my future, and after 3 months, my salary will be increased to 25,000, and then I can increase my investment to 15,000 rupees a month in mutual funds. I've not consulted any advisor. He's given us his fund selection, which we have already forwarded to Feroze, and it's going to come up on the screen. He wants to know how good his fund selection is, and if it needs to be rejigged at all. Feroze, you have that list. Here's a particular viewer who is making 17,000, is already investing 10,000, is considering to increase his investment, and knows what his future hike is also going to be in salary terms. What do you make of where he's putting in his money at the moment?
I think looking at this case study, I think Swami is an inspiration. To be able to save 50–60% of his salary currently is amazing. In fact, I think quite a few people end up having not more than 5–10% of their total salaries invested. I think it's an important message to all viewers to at least look at 25–30% of your salaries being invested. Just like there's a tax component which the income tax department deducts you at source, similarly investment tax is your very good tax which will come back to you in the future. So that's very good, point one. Point two, I think being 26, of course he's done his homework. He's not gone through the advisor, but he's done his homework on the secondary sources on internet and stuff. So I think he's got his funds right. So SBI Multicap is a good fund. He can stay invested because it has a principle of several analysts contributing to the portfolio's construct, and then Principals Fund also is a good fund. But definitely he can add a couple of more funds, Swami, as you increase your investment quantum. You can look at Mirae Asset India Opportunities and HDFC Midcap. In my opinion, both these funds are managed very well with bottom-up stock picking, to my mind, in these tough times, which becomes a critical attribute of the fund manager to deliver extra return than the market, which I think is why we pay them a fee in the first place.
Right, and here's wishing Swami all the very best. As Feroze said, you're an inspiration to the salaried class, putting away so much money and the fantastic increment that you're up for as well. All the best. I'm going to move on to the next viewer query. And in fact, this is a live caller from Gujarat, Mr. Rajesh Shah. Came to Mr. Shah. What's your query on the Money Show?
मैं फिरोज सर से ये पूछना चाहता हूँ. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Shah, please, you're talking directly to our expert of the day. We've got Feroze from Anand, Rathi, Private Wealth Management. What's your query? You're on live television.
ठीक है मैडम, मैं हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ?
हाँ जी बिल्कुल.
ठीक है
बेशक कर सकते हैं.
हेलो फिरोज जी, मैं डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट करता हूँ म्यूचुअल फंड में ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म के द्वारा.
जी,
मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि मेरा रिलायंस फार्मा फंड में अगर इन्वेस्टमेंट है उसको मेरे को अदर एएमसी यानी कि टाटा डिजिटल फंड में स्विच करना हो तो ऐसा कोई प्लेटफॉर्म है जिसमें डायरेक्ट हो सकता है? नंबर 1। और नंबर 2 क्वेश्चन नंबर, मेरा 10 लाख का इन्वेस्टमेंट है जिसमें 65% इन रिलायंस फार्मा फंड है और 35% टाटा डिजिटल फंड है यानी कि सॉफ्टवेयर और फार्मा। मैं रिस्क चाहे कितना भी ले सकता हूं, तो ये स्ट्रेटेजी सही है या गलत है? थैंक यू।
हाँ शाह साहब, आपका क्वेश्चन बहुत पॉइंटेड है, बहुत अच्छी बात है। पॉइंट 1 जो है, आप डायरेक्ट का जो स्विच है ज़रूर कर सकते हैं। रिलायंस फार्मा से आपको रिडीम करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि एक ही एसेट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी में अगर दोनों ही फंड, आपके चुनिंदा फंड दोनों ही अगर एक ही एसेट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी के होते तो आप स्विच कर पाते। इसीलिए आपको रिडीम करना पड़ेगा आपके एग्जिस्टिंग प्लेटफॉर्म से, और उस एग्जिस्टिंग प्लेटफॉर्म में मेरे हिसाब से वो टाटा डिजिटल फंड भी एनरोल्ड होगा, क्योंकि बहुत सारे डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं और सब ने 42 फंडों से टाई अप कर रखा है। तो शायद ही ऐसा होगा कि ये फंड उसमें शामिल नहीं होगा। तो आप उससे रिडीम करें रिलायंस फार्मा से, वही प्लेटफॉर्म से आप डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट टाटा में कर सकते हैं, ये मेरा मानना है। पॉइंट 1 ये हो गया। पॉइंट 2 जो आपकी स्ट्रेटजी है, 10 लाख रुपए रिलायंस फार्मा में 65% और 35% टाटा वाले फंड में डाल रखा है, ये क्या अच्छी रणनीति होगी? मेरे हिसाब से आपको सेक्टोरियल फंड जरूर करने चाहिए, बट उसमें रिस्क थोड़ी ज्यादा होती है, बट उसमें बहुत चौकन्ना होने की जरूरत पड़ेगी। रिलायंस फार्मास्यूटिकल अच्छा सेक्टर है, साल भर से मैं रेकमेंड कर रहा हूं इसको, तो आप उसमें बनाए रखिए। आईटी की जो रैली है मेरे हिसाब से उसमें थोड़ी दिक्कत आएगी, तो आपको यू हैव टू लुक एट अनदर सेक्टोरियल फंड। एक दो महीने में जब बैंकिंग और फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज की जो ये गिरावट है वो जब रुक जाएगी, तो आपको मैं बैंकिंग एंड फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज सेक्टर विल बॉटम आउट इन द नेक्स्ट कपल ऑफ मंथ्स, एंड दैट्स व्हेन आई थिंक आई वुड रेकमेंड यू टू मूव इनटू रिलायंस बैंकिंग। शैलेश राजमान जो फंड मैनेजर हैं रिलायंस फार्मा के, उन्होंने बेहतरीन परफॉर्मेंस दिया है, फार्मा इंडेक्स से भी 6-7% एक्स्ट्रा दिया है। I think you have made the best choice in the pharmaceutical space of buying a Reliance Pharma fund, Mr. Shah.
शाह साहब, आई होप आपकी क्वेरी अच्छी तरह आंसर हो चुकी है। अगर नहीं हुई है, वरी नॉट, आप हमको ईमेल कर दीजिए, आप हमें कल भी फ़ोन कर सकते हैं। हमारे पास एक और एक्सपर्ट होंगे, ये है फिरोज आनंद राठी से, जो कह रहे हैं बहुत कन्विक्शन से कि बैंकिंग स्टॉक्स जो है वो बॉटमिंग आउट खत्म हो जाएगा 2 महीने में। पता नहीं क्या क्रिस्टल बॉल है उनके पास, बट फार्मास्यूटिकल तो अभी अच्छी जगह है। वैसे भी जगह जो अगर आप रुपए को देखेंगे क्या उनकी बिहेवियर हो रही है डॉलर के साथ। With that, we'll take a short commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Money Show. We're still taking live calls. The numbers on top of your screen. You can also send us emails. See you after this break. Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show. I'm Nantara Rai. The numbers on your screen. Continuing your calls to get your queries answered live by Feroze from Anand Rathi Private Wealth Management. I believe we have another live caller with us, Shilpan Vyaas from Gujarat. Hi Shilpan, welcome to The Money Show. What's your query?
Hello ma'am. Hello ma'am.
फरमाइए, आपकी आवाज आ रही है, फरमाइए, व्हाट्स योर क्वेश्चन?
Yeah, ma'am, looking at the past performance, I have started an SIP of rupees 1,000 in SBI Healthcare Opportunity Fund from 2015. But looking at the past 3 years, the fund has not given return. The fund has given the negative return. So the first question is, should I still continue to do SIP in the same fund and wait for the better performance, or should I shift in the similar sector? I have checked Reliance Pharma Fund, which has given a better return than SBI Healthcare Opportunity Fund. So what should I do, ma'am?
Feroze, your answer?
Yes, Shilpan, first thing is, I think People generally invest in stocks on tips. I think that trend has also emerged in mutual funds. See, buying a pharmaceutical fund as a systematic investment plan for that 1000 rupees, if that was your only investment, is not a good strategy. You will have to get your goals right. Getting the core portion of the portfolio becomes an integral part of the strategy. You have to first get the core portion. This is a peripheral portion. आपको पहले अपना 80-90% पैसा सही दिशा में लगाना है, अपने goals को याद रख के करना है. So then you come to the peripheral, the extra risk, extra return is a peripheral portfolio. So I think you should stop this for sure. You should buy a good diversified fund. If you so did it in 2015, you wouldn't have been sitting on a negative return, but you would have been sitting on a positive return. If I'm not wrong, at least 8-9% per annum return compounded for 3 years. So you have had a lot of opportunity loss because your strategy is not commensurate to a good investment. So come back into the core portion. Buy yourself an SBI focused equity fund, which is managed by Vasan inside the same umbrella of which you have chosen. It has 24 stocks in the portfolio, marginally high risk, but significantly better return expected rather than buying yourself a sectorial fund. If you look at the top 10 holdings of this fund, which Vasan manages, I am reasonably confident that delivering a good return over 3, 4, 5 year holding periods is not an unlikely situation to be in.
Okay, and I do hope, Shilpan, you've got your question answered, but worry not. If you have any follow-up questions, you can call us tomorrow as well or send us a detailed email. Promise you, we're going to take it up again on The Money Show. Now, Feroze, I don't know if you know about this. You should be knowing about it. The Times Network and the Association of Mutual Funds in India together launched Jan Nivesh, which is an investor education initiative aimed at getting people to pledge and invest their 1 day's income into mutual funds. That's it, just 1 day to avail of long-term benefits. So you, our viewer, can also partner us and be a part of the growing Indian economy by investing in mutual funds. Join the Jan Nivesh movement. Give us a missed call on the number that's coming up on your screen, that 1-800 number. We're going to pause on that so you can write it down, 1-800-833-666, and pledge 1 day's income for long-term benefits. And we hold a lot of these Jan Nivesh events in many cities. These are ground events. You can take part in them. Keep track of it on our Facebook page, our Twitter handle, our website, and you'll get to know where it's happening next. But at those ground events, we get a lot of queries, and we think The Money Show is the perfect platform to get an expert to answer them. At one of those events, we had Avinash Kumar asking, are index mutual funds and the Nifty index mutual funds the same thing? If yes, then what are the pros and cons? Feroze, as you can see, the idea is to penetrate, to increase the investor base as well. So what do you make of this question? We get a lot of these kind of questions. What would you tell this particular viewer and person who attended our event, and which one do you prefer of the two?
See, I think, Nayantara, I think this is commendable because you are trying to bring in a mainstream investment venue for those people who are common men and women of this country. So I think it's amazing. Jan Nivesh, I think clearly categorizing that you have to invest 1 day's salary and still leaves you with 30 days of salary, which I think is not a very uphill task. So everybody should participate. People take up fitness challenges. I think investment challenges is also like your financial fitness. I don't see a reason why somebody should not participate in it. I think it's amazing and commendable. I think you have a large role to play in bringing in education and investor education. That's point one. Point two, of course, coming to Abhilash's question, he having spent time for coming to the event, I think we owe him an answer to this question. So index funds and Nifty funds, ETFs, index can be any index. So both of them are similar. One of them is a subset to another. So index funds could be on small cap index, mid cap index, even a large cap index like Sensex and Nifty. Nifty fund will be specific, an exchange traded fund which is trying to replicate Nifty. So Nifty fund is nothing but a subset or one of the kinds of the index fund. But having said which, I think in India, you should not choose an index fund, because if you chose a well-managed active fund, you will get more return, is what the last 10 years data clearly establishes. In the US, choosing an index fund is a good strategy because the market is far more evolved than the Indian market.
Okay, and I do hope with that the gentleman's query is indeed answered. Feroze, always a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for being a part of today's edition of The Money Show. With that, it's a wrap. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time, 5:30 p.m.